Hi, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and I wanted to bring y'all the news that it has been confirmed Washington will not be signing any more undrafted free agents. That's it. We have running back Jaret Patterson, who was a huge steal. I feel like he would have been a steal as a late round pick. So the fact that we just signed him without even spending a draft pick is ridiculous value. I honestly think he has Devonta Freeman potential, and I'm willing to bet money he's going to beat out Peyton Barber for that second running back spot, with J.D. McKissic being the third down back. So we have a very valuable one undrafted free agent signing, but it's kind of weird that we didn't get more. Granted, this year's class, due to the pandemic and a lot of people going back, like most notably Chris Olave, a lot of players that under normal circumstances, if last year wasn't so confusing and chaotic, they would have came out this year. So a lot of guys went back, which has resulted in the 2021 draft class being one of the smallest player pools to pick from of all time, and next year's will be one of the largest. So really next year's draft picks are more valuable than this year's, and then I can see why the Burgundy and Gold would just be looking at the guys that are left and is like, this just not it. They'll more than likely go get more undrafted free agents next year, and maybe this year they just don't lock a lot of guys. But I want to dive into the history of recent undrafted free agents and who has actually had an impact. I'm only going back as far as 2018 to look at undrafted free agents we've signed and who has mattered, because I want to get a good feel for, does us only signing one undrafted free agent hurt our team as much as we may think it does? Do undrafted free agents just like almost never work out, truthfully? So is this not something to worry about? But we're going to talk about that. Let's get it. Alright, so first of all, starting with the 2018 undrafted free agent signing class, this is the biggest one, and you'll notice it's less and less and less every year. This 2018 one, we have the most out of any of the four classes that we're going to talk about today. And then this most recent one is easily the least because we only signed one guy. But going back to the 2018 one, we signed Virginia safety Quinn Blanding, Grambling State running back Martez Carter, Indiana wide receiver Simi Cobbs. Dang, I remember him, bro. I had high hopes for Simi Cobbs, man. I'm not going to lie. Marshall linebacker Devon Durant, North Carolina State linebacker Gerard Fernandez, Pittsburgh tight end Matt Flanagan, San Diego State wide receiver Michael Holder, Southern cornerback Danny Johnson, interesting, CSU Pueblo offensive lineman Ty McCulley, Stony Brook offensive lineman Timon Paris, he stuck on the team for a little while, Nebraska wide receiver DeMarnay Pearsonell, West Virginia fullback Elijah Wellman, Iowa guard Sean Welsh, Auburn offensive lineman Casey Dunn, interesting, Colorado wide receiver Shea Fields, Alabama wide receiver Cam Sims, Iowa State cornerback McCurno Alexander, Iowa running back James Butler. And it's Quinn Blanding, I had some hopes for him to work out as well. Really, the only people that still matter to this day are literally Cam Sims and Danny Johnson, and I'm not entirely too sure if either of them make the team going forward. So we just brought them in as undrafted free agents as of 2018. Cam Sims has by far had the biggest impact. Guys like Casey Dunn, Timon Paris, Matt Flanagan have been around the team, but it's literally just Danny Johnson and Cam Sims who matter out of this list. And again, Cam Sims by far had the biggest impact, but both him and Danny Johnson are in serious danger of not making this team this year, because Danny Johnson is a developmental corner with returner ability. We went and brought in guys that can return, and we went and brought in a lot of DBs in free agency and through this draft. And then Cam Sims, y'all have already seen my video, 14 receivers, 6 spots at max probably. It's ugly, man. He's definitely on the outside looking in. Then the 2019 class, you have linebacker from McNeese State, BJ Blunt, offensive lineman from Michigan, Jawan Bichelle Betty, Tennessee State offensive lineman Chidi Okeke, Oregon tight end Kano Dillon, Kansas wide receiver Steven Sims, Duke wide receiver TJ Ramming, I remember him. Defensive back from Washington, JoJo McIntosh, I remember you as well. And defensive tackle from Marshall, Ryan B. And straight off the bat, BJ Blunt, TJ Ramming, Ryan B. been on the team a little bit, but not very impactful. And Steven Sims Jr. is by far the most impactful. And he's in even more danger of not making this team than Cam Sims. If you would have told me that at the end of the 2019 season, I literally would not have believed you. Maybe starting the season, I mean, yeah. But by the time the season ended, when Terry McLaurin was hurt those last few games, and it was just Kelvin Harmon and Steven Sims putting the team on their backs, Steven Sims was out here balling, unguardable. Couldn't cover him one-on-one. Catching most of the stuff thrown towards him. And then last year, he just became one of the most inconsistent presences on this team, man. Inconsistent hands, not just as a receiver, but as a returner. I mean, he was just a muff punt waiting to happen. It was really bad, man. It's crazy how Steven Sims went from December 2019 Steven Sims to the 2020 Steven Sims we saw. I just don't understand what happened. I really don't. He just lost his powers. I don't know. Shang Tsung took his soul or something. I don't know. I really don't know what happened to Steven Sims. But either way, out of this undrafted free agent class, more than likely, none of them will be here on the 2021 roster, especially the 53 man. Maybe somebody on the practice squad, but still even doubt that. Then the 2020 undrafted free agent class, you have Isaiah Wright, wide receiver from Temple, Jonathan Johnson, Missouri wide receiver, Steven Sims, Colorado quarterback, and Thaddeus Moss, LSU tight end. And man, what do I really have to say here? Isaiah Wright, a lot of potential. I like his versatility, running back, receiver, returner, all of it. Basically baby Antonio Gibson, but more of a receiver than a running back, but still very raw, highly unlikely to make the team. Maybe make practice squad though, we'll see. Jonathan Johnson from Missouri, I mean, that ended fairly quickly. Steven Montez, I mean, they said they want to give him a chance in preseason to see if they can carve out a Taysom Hill-like role, and if that doesn't work out, maybe he just ends up on the practice squad. Who knows? They're going to try to get creative with trying to figure out how to use him, but I honestly don't think he's that fast to be trying to do something like that, but we'll see. The main reason he's still on this team is because we didn't have a preseason last year, and they said they wanted to give him an honest chance. But if we had a preseason last year, and he didn't look like what they were hoping he would look like in a Taysom Hill-like role, he probably wouldn't be here by now, but we'll see. And then you already know Thaddeus Moss. I was very excited to get him. Hurt all last year, and then now he went to go reunite with Joe Burrow, so maybe Joe Burrow can get greatness out of him. Maybe he can suddenly stay healthy for them, but I don't know. Either way, it's looking like nobody from this class will make the 53-man roster either. So far from 2018 through 2020, I can't really name even one undrafted free agent that's likely to make this 53-man roster going into this 2021 season. It's crazy. And there have been a lot of sleepers. Steven Sims showed greatness at one time. Cam Sims, I'm still interested in seeing what he can do. Danny Johnson is interesting. Steven Montez is interesting. Isaiah Wright, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, none of these guys have had a real long-term impact. Emphasis on long-term, because again, Steven Sims was a huge highlight, but it only lasted like 2 months. And then now we have my boy Jared Patterson, and I'm expecting him to finally break the curse. I'm expecting Jared Patterson to be a great 1-2 punch with Antonio Gibson for like the next 4 years plus, with J.D. McKissic being the third down back. I can see us potentially having one of the best, if not the best, running back room in the NFL with this 1-2 punch. I mean, I'm thinking literally Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram type of thing. Like, I really see Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt level. I'm that high on Jared Patterson and Antonio Gibson as well. So again, we only signed one undrafted free agent, but if you honestly think about it, if you combine all of the value from 2018 into one person, that's Jared Patterson. You combine all of the long-term value from the 2019 class, less people, you put them together, Jared Patterson. Same thing with last year, the 2020 class. Isaiah Wright, Jonathan Johnson, Steven Montez, Thaddeus Moss. Again, more value per person. You put them together, it may be Jared. So it seems like over the years, we've taken less guys, but each guy is more valuable. So all in all, it's like the same amount of value each year. But I think this year, with only one person we signed, he's going to end up being more valuable long term than anybody out of any of these other classes, maybe even combined. Because again, Cam Sims, Danny Johnson, Steven Sims are your highlights, and I'm not even entirely too sure they make the 53-man roster. And again, I think Jared Patterson will basically be the Mark Ingram to Antonio Gibson's Alvin Kamara. And then you just throw in J.D. McKissic as an extra, just like, how do we stop this guy type? Man, this running back group is going to be crazy, bro. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Just wanted to take a look at, because I was learning about it as I'm reading it. As I'm listening to names, I'm just now looking at it like y'all are. Like, My memory's bad. So I didn't even go into this video already knowing, oh yeah, this 2018 class, this is what I'm gonna say. No, this is my live reaction to reading these names. So I just wanted to take some time to look at the past undrafted free agents we've signed recently, because I was puzzled with the fact that we only signed Jaret Patterson. But at the end of the day, even the classes where we've signed more than a dozen people, all of these classes where we've signed more than one, potentially none of them will make this 53-man roster going forward. And we're talking about just since 2018. We're not even talking about back in 2015, 2012. We're talking about the furthest back we're going is 2018, and the turnover rate is already crazy. It's really bad. Again, they're undrafted free agents, so it's not like these are busts, because you weren't expecting a lot out of them anyway. But my point is, after doing this research, I understand that we should not be panicking and looking at Ron Rivera crazy for only bringing in one undrafted free agent. For me, it's kind of like, why not? If there's just anybody out there, why not bring them in to at least give them a chance? But at the end of the day, statistics show, history shows, the vast majority of these guys are just not going to matter anyway. And I guess they just want to save their little bit of money that they would just end up spending on these guys and losing it once they cut them. But it's really interesting to see the trend going down year by year, because this draft class is the first one really affected by the pandemic, as far as like the ramifications and how small the draft pool is, and like literally the draft was directly affected by the pandemic. Like last year's draft, the pandemic was going on, but it didn't necessarily affect who was getting drafted and how many players and things like that. This was the first draft, this past one, that was really affected by COVID-19 and affected how many players were even available in the draft and things like that. But still, this is the first year that the pandemic has affected the draft, and you've been seeing a steady decline year by year with each undrafted free agent signing class that we've had. So even though the pandemic did have an effect, I think just over the years, with us building more depth, hitting on more picks and free agents just overall over time, we've just had less of a need for undrafted free agents. We're not just having a team-wide tryout. We're more so just looking for a select few spots to fill and some depth. We're not out here trying to find hidden gems and stars by bringing in 20 guys and just hoping 10 of them works. Right now, Ron Rivera and company feel like we have great depth, we have a great team, and Jaret Patterson was just the only missing piece after the draft. That's basically how I view it. But definitely get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Definitely get in the comment section. I know I'm behind. I'm gonna get to the comment sections on all the videos that I've been doing. I've just been so busy watching film on this draft class so I can get my final grade and analysis out there. And you know me, man, that video is probably gonna run for like 30 minutes plus, because I have to break down each player, and not even just the player, but the pick we took them at and why that was a reach or a steal and things like that. I have to analyze the whole thing, man, just to give as accurate a grade as I possibly can. Because again, like I've been saying, you can't really judge a draft until 2 years down the line. But I feel like me watching more film will help me give a more accurate grade than if I would have just suddenly dropped one the day after the draft was done. And then I'm also working on just more videos like this one, so it's just a lot going on. So I want to catch up in the comments, and I promise I will be able to get to some of them, maybe not all of them, but I do want to go back and go into every video since like Thursday, maybe even a little further back than that, and try to reply to some comments. I'm getting to them, just been super busy, y'all. I'm sorry. Also, make sure y'all pull up at 6 p.m. I'm having a live stream where y'all call in. I don't even plan on talking that much. I really just want to get y'all thoughts on the draft, so I want to give y'all a platform, since the vast majority of y'all don't have YouTube channels where y'all can voice y'all opinions. I want to provide my channel as a platform for y'all to speak y'all minds, whether you love the draft, whether you hated it, whether you love certain picks or hated certain picks. You know what I'm saying? This is your opportunity to just come voice your opinion and speak your mind, ask me any questions that you may have and things like that. And depending on if we have a certain amount of people trying to call in, we'll probably have a 5-minute timer for each person. Otherwise, I'll just let people talk. If it's only like 4 people, I mean, you might as well just go as long as you want, I guess, if there's nobody behind you waiting. But like, if we start getting a lot of people calling in, there will be like a 5-minute timer. So just stay tuned for that. That will be coming out at 6 p.m. I'm recording right now at 2:30. This video will probably be done, edited, and out by like 3:30. We'll see. But all right, man, I appreciate the view. I appreciate the support. Please like this video if you liked it. If you learned anything, please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get a notification every time I release a video like this one, so you get a notification every time I schedule a live stream like the 6 p.m. live stream coming up, and you get another notification when I actually start it. So definitely hit the bell next to the subscription button so you can stay up to date with the film sessions I'm going to do on every player we drafted, including the undrafted free agent Jared Patterson, of course, and all of the draft content, all of the team building content, free agency, all of that type of stuff. Stay tuned for all of that. And as always, man, I really appreciate all the support, man. Big shouts out to everybody that donates to the channel, man. I really appreciate y'all. And huge shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors, whose names you see scrolling on the screen right now. Man, I really appreciate it. Again, like I keep telling y'all, members to the channel, when I start getting these film sessions out, are going to get the far more in-depth film sessions where they get like double the plays that I analyze. So if you want the real true film sessions on all of these draft picks, make sure you become a channel member. All right, catch y'all later. I'm out.